My name is Annie Butler, and I'm in 8th grade. This is my second year attending St. Ambrose Academy. Before I begin, I would like you all to know that I do not enjoy public speaking because it makes me nervous. With that said, I'm speaking here tonight for two reasons. One, I feel St. Ambrose is an amazing school, and I want to tell everyone about it. And two, I thought it would be good practice for my graduation speech. To sum up my description of St. Ambrose, I thought of an acronym. C-R-E-S-T. CREST. I looked up the word crest in the dictionary and found that there are two definitions for this word. The first definition is the top of a mountain, and the second is a badge above the shield of a coat of arms. I think it's interesting that these two definitions came up because the top of the mountain, the crest, points to God in the heights of heaven, and a badge, the crest, on a coat of arms is meant to remind you of the community that you belong to. So how do the letters C-R-E-S-T relate to St. Ambrose Academy? Here's how I see it. C stands for the community of God within our school. R stands for respect among teachers and students. E is for the excellence in how we are encouraged to please God in all we do. S is for the skills I learn each day. And T stands for the truth I am being taught. Crest. I am proud to be a student of St. Ambrose Academy, and I am thankful to be attending a school where the main focus each day is about leading me to the top of God's mountain.
Hello, my name is Jose Flores. I'd like to share my experience at St. Ambrose with you. Quite frankly, I didn't know anything about St. Ambrose before I came to the school. Last year, my loving godfather asked me if I was interested in going to a really good school, and I said that I was. I never would have imagined that I'd be going to a private school. I was already making plans to attend East High School. Luckily, I was open to going to a good school that was new to me, a school that was all the way on the other side of town, with hope that things would be better this way, with trust in God and that He would be there for me. And through the efforts of my parents, my godfather, and Mr. Schmeezing, I am now a freshman at St. Ambrose Academy. Okay, so after my first day at St. Ambrose, I said to myself, wow, this is hard. After I was handed back my first biology test, I said, I didn't think I did that bad. After the first week of school, I said to myself, this is going to be a tough school year. My point in sharing this is that my first couple of days at St. Ambrose were very difficult, but I enjoyed every second of that difficulty because I knew that I could handle it. I knew that I could learn what was being taught. I also realized I would have to work hard to receive that good grade, and I've been working harder ever since. I like to talk to my old friends about St. Ambrose. I encourage them to think about God, and I invite them to come to St. Ambrose. I talk to them so much about my new school that they call me at night to tell me something that they like or don't like about St. Ambrose. One night, my friend called me just to say that Jesus had long hair, and that it was unfair that boys had to cut their hair in order to go to St. Ambrose. I was glad that he was thinking about it so much, and I told him that cutting my hair was a sacrifice that I made for God. One of the greatest things about being at St. Ambrose is that now I feel like I am free to make a real difference in my school. I am encouraged to work hard and to do my best, not only for my own benefit, but in order to be a good influence on those around me, especially the junior high students. I am free to choose to be a good role model for others. At St. Ambrose, I am free to follow Christ. What more could I ask for?
Good evening. I'm John Cheetah, a senior at St. Ambrose Academy. When my parents were talking about sending me to St. Ambrose, I only knew a few things about the school. It was really small, the classes were difficult, the homework was tough, and it didn't have any sports. But in my first day as my freshman year at St. Ambrose, a few things really stood out to me. Everybody seemed really friendly, and the kids weren't afraid to express their faith. I'd previously attended a Catholic middle school, but there none of the kids ever talked about their faith. It was really easy to get along with everybody at St. Ambrose, And as time passed, the classes became more manageable, and I really felt comfortable. With each new school year, St. Ambrose grew in size and opportunity, and each year we gained another sports team. I know that I've received a better education than if I had gone to a different high school, not necessarily because St. Ambrose's classes are at a higher academic level, but because of the personal formation and the encouraging atmosphere that St. Ambrose provides. I was motivated by my peers and teachers to learn to the best of my ability, so I took challenging classes which I probably wouldn't have taken at another school, and I was encouraged to become the best person I can be, the individual God wants me to be. It's this friendly pressure, this encouragement to strive for excellence that really benefited me. It's not a pressure to succeed by making lots of money, but by truly serving others through your gifts. Just look at the teachers. We've got teachers with master's degrees and PhDs. They could be teaching elsewhere, but they aren't. They're making a sacrifice in their life. For what? For the faith. It's examples like these that I've witnessed at St. Ambrose, and they've planted a desire within me to serve others with my life too. I think St. Ambrose's greatest strength is its ability to help kids find their vocation in life. One moment that stands out to me took place just a couple of weeks ago when I checked in with my college admissions counselor. To begin our conversation about how my college decisions were coming along, she asked, "How's your prayer life going?" I thought that was pretty cool. Now in my senior year, I've come to realize just what a blessing it's been to have spent my high school years at St. Ambrose. I'm thankful that my parents decided to send me here, and I hope the school continues to grow so that even more kids can benefit from it. I know that it will provide a solid foundation on which they can build their life. I know I've certainly been blessed with one. As far as for plans after high school go, I finally realize that I can't ignore the idea of priesthood that always comes to my mind when I think about possible careers. In fact, I just completed the application to be a seminarian for the diocese this past week. Thank you. So please pray for me and for all others who are discerning callings to the priesthood and religious life at St. Ambrose. Thanks for coming tonight and supporting our school. We're grateful for your support of the mission of St. Ambrose Academy, and you're always in our prayers.
My name is Lucy Patek, and I'm a 2006 graduate of St. Ambrose Academy. What I appreciated most about St. Ambrose Academy was how faith was woven into every class. Whether we were dissecting frogs in biology, memorizing theorems, or diagramming sentences, somehow our faith was always echoed in everything we did. When you become part of the St. Ambrose community, you witness this uncontainable joy that flows from the teachers, staff, and students around you. You cannot find this joy anywhere else. It is a joy that comes from growing closer to Christ. After high school, I went on to pursue the arts at Madison Area Technical College. While in college, I immersed myself in design classes. I enjoyed the challenge of communicating through imagery, typography, hue, and texture. It was exciting to finally use the gifts God has given me to reflect the beauty of the Creator through design. In the spring of 2009, I graduated from MATC with a degree in graphic design and illustration. I'm now currently working for an online business that sponsors and promotes several local Catholic projects, such as the chapel renovation premiere and the adorationchapel.com website. The primary source of my inspiration and motivation comes from the compelling words of Pope John Paul II. In his youth, he was a devoted artist, talented poet, and playwright. Our late Holy Father expressed the following in his letter to artists. My hope for all of you who are artists is that you will have an especially intense experience of creative inspiration. May the beauty that you pass on to generations still to come be such that it will stir them to wonder. May your art help to affirm that true beauty, which as a glimmer of the Spirit of God, will transfigure matter, opening the human soul to the sense of the eternal. As a Catholic artist, I am grateful to God for the gift he has generously entrusted to me, And I'm thankful to St. Ambrose Academy for enkindling in me a desire to love, protect, and illuminate the beauty of the church.
I'm John Kerry. I'm an alumnus from the St. Ambrose class of 2008, so I'm one of those original 10 souls. I'm currently attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison, getting a degree in computer science. I would have preferred to major in truth with a double major in beauty, but the university doesn't offer that. St. Ambrose Academy taught me a genuine love for truth in all forms, from mathematics to history to religion, and that curiosity and desire for truth that St. Ambrose gave me has continued in college. So my freshman year at the UW, I had no idea what I wanted to major in, and I wanted to take everything. So that year, I took economics, mathematics, computer science, philosophy, ballroom dance, some sociology, English, political science, and I think one or two other things that I can't remember right now. And I think in doing this, I was really searching for what I had at St. Ambrose, that sense of the sublime and that sense of truth that we had studied in everything that we did. So at the start of my freshman year, I thought it took no finding, but was in every subject that the university had to offer. And very quickly, I realized that while the University of Wisconsin offers many things, truth is not at the forefront. I took a philosophy class where we studied arguments, but we decided nothing about their veracity, unlike in St. Ambrose where we took firm positions on what we were studying. I took an English class where the professor told us that the morality in the story The Lord of the Rings was intended to be subjective. So UW-Madison is no St. Ambrose, but it's not supposed to be. It's not trying to be. And there is truth in UW-Madison. I can see it when studying Gödel's incompleteness theorem in discrete mathematics my sophomore year. I can see it when I'm learning how to do ballroom dancing, swing dancing, tango. I can see it when I'm writing papers on Hamlet in my English classes. So what makes St. Ambrose unique? It's not just that St. Ambrose has this sense of the truth and teaches it well. I think St. Ambrose gives you a love for truth and the tools to seek it out and rejoice in it wherever you are and whatever you do, even if you have to do some digging to find it, as I've had to do at the UW-Madison. St. Ambrose has been called a college prep school, and I think that while it does do a great job preparing students for college, that's not really at the heart of the mission. St. Ambrose is a life prep school. It prepares you for a holy, joyful, and educated life. And what is the goal of life? The goal of life is to get to heaven. The goal of life is to become a saint. And that's what St. Ambrose is really about. That's what St. Ambrose has helped me with, and that's what it helps all its students with. St. Ambrose helps its students become saints.
Hello, my name is Peter Carey, and I'm a senior at St. Ambrose Academy. My older twin brothers, John and Thomas over there, were students in the first year the school started. And you know, it's not always easy being the younger sibling of the founding students. You're always hearing stories about the good old days, like how they had a vending machine in the old building, or how they only had 2 rooms to clean up at the end of the day. And your teachers can't help but make comparisons. Since my older brothers are twins, I have to hear it twice as much. Oh, look, it's Mimi Emma. She knows what I'm talking about.
Hello, everyone. Peter, you think you've got it bad? Try being the younger sister of our first seminarian graduate. Everyone's always asking me, how's Ben doing? Or have you heard from Ben lately?
I know, right? On the other hand, they were the first students in this experiment of classical education, so everything got tested on them first. Like reading Paul Johnson's Modern History from cover to cover.
And we have gained a lot over the years, too. Like, they didn't have a drama program or any sports teams.
You know, I think they went bowling that one time. I suppose being the next generation of students does have its benefits.
I guess that's true. Also, remember when we were in junior high and we watched Ben, Thomas, and John, and all the other older kids drive over to the east side to pray at the Planned Parenthood? It's because of their example that we decided to participate in 40 Days for Life this year.
I'm glad we did that. It's good for Catholic teenagers to stand up for the important issues of their time, like the right to life.
Fortunately, St. Ambrose is the kind of school that when we came to them with the idea, they let us take time out of our own study halls in order to be witnesses of Christ in the world.
And we're going to have a great opportunity to do that this January when we go to Washington, D.C. for the annual March for Life. Another great St. Ambrose tradition.
Exactly. So thank you, first-year St. Ambrose students, for getting the school off the ground and setting the example for generations of St. Ambrose students to follow.